And we're being
Thank you.
streamed.
And in the website, you will find all the secrets to the universe.
You have to log in.
Yeah, but you have to log
Question.
in to find them out. Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a login yet, so I'm just going to take notes, I guess.
Or it is let me in 22 exclamation, capital L.
Well, there's other tricks too. You actually don't have to have a login.
Right. And there's some people that never use it. They just create password each time and forget it.
If you type your name into where you should pop up because you're on the membership list, and then it lets you in or gives you a temporary password or something like that.
All right, I'll give it a go.
Question really quick. Being that mostly everyone in the meeting has a role other than Tom, Pam, and Chris, it's okay today to call on, as far as the table topics, call on people with roles?
Yeah, you can call on the odd counter, the grammarian, all those people, just not the speaking roles.
Okay. All right.
Typically.
Okay. Thank you.
And Lois, hi there. You're
Hello.
evaluating Carmine today. So do you have everything you need to prepare to no? Well, just do the best you can then. Okay.
I will need to screen share today.
You're
muted,
Lois.
You want to try it, Marie? Go ahead.
Lois, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I forgot to do it.
Yep. Okay.
It's okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Give me a pen I can use.
There we go.
Okay, everyone. It is now 7 a.m. and it's time for our Toastmasters, Earlybird Toastmasters meeting. I am Randolph, your Sergeant at Arms, and the mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. As we continue to meet by Zoom, we ask that you practice good Zoom etiquette by keeping yourself muted unless you're an active speaker, and we encourage you to use the chat feature to send everyone a message or private feedback to the speaker. And now it's my honor to introduce our presiding officer for today, distinguished Toastmaster Kip Barkley.
Thank you. I am presiding today. Welcome to Earlybird. Let me go to gallery view where a good presiding officer ought to hang out. But before we worry about the gallery, we need invocation and pledge. Looking to Scott May.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So as an invocation, I would like to start with just a reminder that we are all on land that was once occupied by native peoples of the Taino, the Tequesta, and the Seminole native peoples. And I will share a invocation. Here we go. Okay, and I'll show it to you. This is on my, hopefully you can see this, on my coffee mug. I will read it to you.
All right.
May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being. And may you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you. And the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Be seated. We have a joke master, Randolph Bastine.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer, and all Toastmasters. I don't see any guests. There were two baseball players that absolutely loved the game beyond anything. And as they begin to age, they had a conversation with themselves saying that, do you think that there's baseball in heaven? And the other one, they said they made a pledge with each other. Well, we'll tell you this, whoever goes first has to come back and let us know, because I'm not sure that's going to be heaven without baseball. So come next week, one of the guys passed away, and he comes back and he says, hey, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that there's baseball in heaven. The bad news is you'll be pitching next Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let us do self-introductions here. Back to gallery.
You want the word of the day?
Hey, you know, I would like that a lot, because then we can do introductions
Okay.
better.
I'm going to screen share, I think. Okay. Did it come up?
Not yet.
No, wait a second. Let me get back down here. Boing. Screen share. Okay, there you go. Word of the day.
No, you still have to sit. There you go.
The word of the day is tribulation, a cause of great trouble or suffering, a state of great trouble or suffering. I got this word the other day during a Bible discussion class that we were talking about the trials and tribulations of Jesus. And I'm like, wow, that is an appropriate word. Tribulation is the word of the day. I have a sample sentence there that says, we are witnesses to the tremendous political tribulation in the real-time war between Russia and Ukraine. Please try to use the word tribulation.
Thank you, Alita. Okay, let us start with self-introductions with Jim Day, Jim Gould, and Randolph Bastine.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer. My name is Jim Day, DTM, and your treasurer and your timer for today. And you know, I'm rather anal when it comes to timing, so be on your guard.
Thank you.
You may incur some tribulations if you go over your time. Mr. Presiding.
Mr. President, Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, I'm competent Toastmaster Jim Gould, IP 4 PM2 something in Pathways, and I go through these tribulations regularly. Tribulation is from the Latin, and it has to do with threshing boards and nastiness that would occur to people who weren't doing what they should be, and that would be a tribulation. Oh, I think it's on to Randolph next.
Yeah.
Good morning, presiding officer and all Toastmasters. I am Randolph Bastine, level 2 motivational strategies, but I do have to get with you, Kip, and find out why it's still saying level 1. And tribulations is something I believe is, you know, just a part of microevolution. It's going to come, so to try to run from it, it's just accept the moment and move on to the happy times. Back to you.
Excellent, excellent. Let's have Anna and Mary Helen and Chris.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, my name is Anna Ilsen. I'm Innovative Planner 3, Engaging Humor 3. I think life's tribulations help me appreciate more the times of jubilation. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Wow, excellent. Thank you. Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Mary Helen Day. And lately I have been experiencing, and secondarily, my husband's been experiencing some tribulation because I have carpal tunnel syndrome and am about to be operated on my hand, which means I get very little sleep. So I've been calling him names which do not belong to him. Of course, they're not nasty names. They're just inappropriate names. So here's my tribulation, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, I've led a charmed life. I can think of very few tribulations in my life. So to experience tribulation, I go to visit my friend Melinda in Reno, Nevada. I just got back yesterday, not as jet lagged as I thought I would be, because she not only has herself to deal with in her life, but there are 4 other human beings that live on her property, and 1 cat, 2 dogs, 3 horses, 1 pony, 1 llama, 4 goats, 3 chickens, 1 rooster, and a pig.
No partridge in a pear tree?
No partridge in a pear tree, no, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yes, yes, yes. Waking up here. Pam and Alita and Scott.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer, my fellow Toastmasters. I'm Pam Scrimshire, working on engaging humor and strategic motivation. As far as tribulations, yes, I am also with Chris Gould in the fact that I would say none. I have now decided who to give my money to, and not my children, it will be my roof. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Always glad to receive money.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, I'm Alita Richmond coming to you from Winter Spring, 24 degrees right now, Southwest Pennsylvania. I have found that Randolph is correct. The tribulations come. It's best to just accept them because you gain from that. Facing them on it gives you strength. I am working in a couple of paths. Good to be here. Good morning.
Excellent.
Mr. President, Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, I'm Scott May. The tribulations I face are really small. I too am blessed. Today, the biggest tribulation will be as I take my dry cleaning in, will it be ready before I get on a plane tomorrow? Oh, the pain, the pain. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Marie, Lois, Lane, and Carmine.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, my name is Marie Rock. I am Visionary Communicator 5, Strategic Relationships Level 2. And I have a visceral feeling when I watch the tribulations of the people who are affected by war, affected by famine, affected by global climate change. It's hard to watch. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yeah. Lois.
Good morning, Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters. I am here with tribulations of a toothache and I'm terrible pain. I will not give up my ship and I'm happy to be here struggling with tribulations of the day. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Hang in there, Lois. Carmine, how are your tribulations coming along?
Good morning, Mr. DTM Presiding Officer Kip Barkley. Buongiorno, my fellow Toastmasters. Don't we miss him? Where is he? Where is he?
He's dealing with personal issues. He said he'll be gone this week and next.
Okay. So some of us will have to fill in for him, and I hope all of you step up to the plate and really become animated. tribulations. Into every life some rain must fall. That's about into every life some tribulation must fall. So in my later years, when I began to look at scripture, the first book of the book of James, the first chapter, was so disturbing to me. There's a line, the second line says, consider it pure joy when you face trials, which means tribulations. I said, that's crazy. That's crazy. But then I had to go on and read the rest of it. And it talked about it will create perseverance in your faith, and that will develop wisdom. That will develop wisdom. So there's a lot to be said about scripture if you have the perseverance to deal with the tribulations. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's see, who do we have left? We have Tom and Becky Joe. Is Tom frozen? He's awfully still.
I'm waiting for you to call.
Call.
Call. All right. Mi regadera no tiene agua caliente. That's misfortune. Shower doesn't have hot water. Mr. Presiding Officer.
It's a rough world out there. Becky Joe, are you there? Show us your smiling face and say something upbeat about your tribulations.
Something happy about my tribulation. Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, I don't know. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Tribulations make a wonderful, wonderful themes for songs. I should probably be a songwriter, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you so much. I see an Earlybird logo. Is that a real person or just an extra backup?
That's Randolph.
That's Randolph. Well, we already introduced him, but not me. I am Kip Barclay. Keep believing I am retired. 2 clients bugged me yesterday then I looked at my calendar. It was Tuesday. It was Microsoft Update Tuesday, and an updated clobbered their 2 computers. So, okay, unplug them, count to 10, and try again. We will find out this afternoon how that worked. That is introductions at our place. We had a question along the way. Randolph's progress. He has finished in level 2, 1 project, understanding your communication style. He has started and not finished online, active listening, and it says he hasn't started mentoring, but I thought I heard that speech. So you got to go in there and step through all this stuff. The job is not done until the paperwork is done. Ha.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome to the new pathways. It's a joy. That was a public announcement. There's some other people in the same spot. I'm not picking on you. Okay, we are here. Things are wonderful. Let us move on to our really wonderful program. And to lead us in that, our Toastmaster of the day, Anna Ilson.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, we're looking forward to a great meeting today. Toastmasters is divided into 3 sections. First, the impromptu speaking called table topics. Then we have prepared speeches. And then we have, lastly, our evaluations, where we lovingly hold up a mirror to our prepared speakers and let them know where they've been strong, what areas need a little improvement, and so on and so forth. We have some helpers to make our meeting go smoothly. We have a knock counter who is today Distinguished Toastmaster Jim Gould. Would you tell us what your duties will be?
Madam Toastmaster, thank you for the promotion to Distinguished Toastmaster.
Oh.
That was very kind of you. The ah counter is responsible for noting the pauses, the ahs, the ers, the nos, things like that. And I will remind with a little ding. I have sharing going on, and you should hear a little ding. So you'll hear dings more often than the things that go up on the screen. I will give a little report at the end, and we'll see how it goes. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Gould. Next up is our grammarian, Toastmaster Alida Richmond. Would you tell us what your duties will be?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster, the grammarian presents the word of the day, which I already have, and that is tribulation. The grammarian during the meeting will note the use of good language, naming the member and the example. Also, incorrect grammar will be corrected or pointed out without reference to the member. And that's about it. At the end, I'll give a report about the tribulations of the grammarian and everybody else when you have a bell dinging.
Thank you, Toastmaster Richmond. And now we will acknowledge our timer, distinguished Toastmaster Jim Day. Okay, we'll be hearing more from you shortly. With that, I will turn control of the meeting to our topic master of the day, Toastmaster Randolph Bastine.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am Randolph Bastine, the topic master for today, and the purpose of a topic master is to improve our impromptu speaking. And I do have help from our timer today. Can you please give us the timing requirements?
Yes, Mr. Topic Master. The timing requirements are 1 to 2 minutes with a 30-second deviation only at the end to qualify. I will turn on the green screen at 1 minute, the amber at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red at 2 minutes. And if I start flashing, you've already blown the time requirements. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. All right. First questions will kind of be all over today. There is no exact theme. First question, if you were a wrestler, what would be your entrance theme song? If you were a wrestler, what would be your entrance theme song? Toastmaster Tom Quinn.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. Topic Master. The entrance theme for a wrestler to go into a ring, if it was me, if it was I, merciful heavens. Probably the Rocky theme would be the best, but it would be played with tubas and wah 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 like Jim does with the, because I am obviously not a wrestler. I am just not anything controlling near that. So I would have to make it sort of funny, like a howdy doody kind of thing or something like that, and make people laugh, because I would look at myself in a wrestling outfit and I would die of hysterical laughter. My goodness, those days are long gone, not to happen. But it's an interesting question you've posed. It would probably appeal to some person's feelings of superiority and egocentricity. All of that has been beaten out of me over the troubles and trials and tribulations of my life. So I'm a little bit more humble a guy today than I was in my earlier time when I was a relatively egotistical, arrogant, stubborn. Well, maybe I might be that today, Mr. Topic Man.
Thank you. Thank you. Fish farts. In the 80s, the Swedish Navy discovered underwater sounds that many suspected to be Russian submarines. Turns out they were nothing more than fish farts. The Swedes subsequently won a IG Nobel Prize. Have you ever stumbled upon something that you thought was something different? Have you ever stumbled upon something that you thought that was something different? Toastmaster Chris Gould.
Fish farts, Mr. Topic Master. If you are a scuba diver like I am, along with Jim, and you are underwater, you encounter weird things all the time. Now, one of the benefits of scuba diving is that it is a silent world. Other than the bubbles from your own regulator, you hear nothing. So I apparently have missed a lot of fish farts. But I do remember seeing a creature once that I had never seen before. It was on the bottom and it had kind of wings, kind of like a bird, but it didn't move them much. It was all kind of stuck together. And I remember thinking, I wonder if it looked like it was a bird that had gotten messed up in an oil spill and gotten all stuck together and had somehow learned how to breathe underwater. I actually think it is called a sea robin or something like that, or a frogfish. It was the weirdest thing. And yes, I had to look it up in a fish book. I'm not even sure it was there. It was so weird. So there are a lot of strange things in this world, but I will have to pay attention next time I go underwater and see if I see the telltale bubbles of a fish fart. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. Would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room, and why? Would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room, and why? Toastmaster Pam Scrimsher.
Oh, well, okay. So my question is, if a fish farts in the ocean and his wife isn't there, does it still count? Oh, smartest or funniest? Yeah, that'd be hard to choose, wouldn't it? Because if one is smart, then one can be relatively funny because some things are pretty funny. But I don't think I have the capacity to do much of the comedy that so many people do. I'm certainly not good at slapstick. I don't appreciate it. So I guess I'd have to go for being the smartest in the room. On the other hand, people that think they're the smartest in the room often aren't. They're like Tom was talking about being egotistical. They're not really, they just think they are. So the rest of us who are the smartest in the room, just let them rattle on and think that they are. No, I think I would still rather be the smartest because I don't want pies in the face. I'd rather make pies and eat them. I don't want to trip and fall. I don't want to slip on banana peels. Yeah, I think I would enjoy more being the smartest person in the room. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. What is the silliest thing you are pretty good at? What is the silliest thing you are pretty good at? Toastmaster Becky Joe.
Oh my goodness, the silliest thing that I am pretty good at. Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, trying to move away from the coffee maker. I'm pretty good at reading bedtime stories. Now, that's not the silly part. The silly part is the faces I make when I read the stories, because I'm reading to a 5-year-old about Winnie the Pooh. And I make all kinds of funny voices because every character has to have a voice. You see, my adopted granddaughter left her book at my home. So every night at 5 o'clock, we have storytelling, and it is silly. And honestly, it's the best time. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. What is the best or worst prank you've ever played on someone? What is the best or worst prank you ever played on someone? Toastmaster Distinguished Toastmaster Jim Gould.
Wow, Mr. Table Topics Master, I'm getting promoted to Distinguished Toastmaster all over the place. Maybe I should work on that. I'm not there yet. What was the question? Pranks?
The best or worst prank you've ever played on someone?
I am not good with pranks. I'm a silly type of person, but I'm not organized enough to pull a prank. I've been the recipient of a few pranks, but I don't think I've ever pulled a prank. I would have to ask my wife. She would probably think that her tribulations are due to my prank pulling, but I don't believe that I can come up with one. A prank that I've pulled. I guess I keep secrets, but I'm not good at keeping secrets. So I have to spill the beans before it happens. So Chris was gone this weekend, and our house was a mess because I'm a mess. And I decided that it needed cleaning. She wanted me to call the cleaning ladies, and I had talked to the cleaning lady, and I told Chris that I would get the house cleaned, and I did it myself. But is that a prank? I don't think so. Maybe it is. She came home to a clean house. That hardly ever happens. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. If you have your own late night talk show, who would be your first guest that you invite? If you have your own late night talk show, who would be your first guest that you would like to invite? Toastmaster Alita Richmond.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters. You guys are probably going to think I'm weird, but I have always had a great admiration for Cher, the singer, because she started as, just a poor girl, young girl, but she had a voice. And when she met up with Sonny, the sparks flew, and so did the notes. Those guys could really belt a song. And Cher has continued to reinvent herself over the years. When I first saw Cher early on, she was a little bit homely looking. If you remember back, she was, a little plump faced and just kind of nervous. But over the years, she has grown to be a phenomenal star. And she always looks wonderful, and she gets away with wearing the most risque outfit. I would invite Cher to be my first talk show person because I just always have found her to be amazing. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. Do we have time for a few more? Mr. Timer?
Well, the group decides. We have 2 speeches, 5 to 7 minutes, but we've been offered a tech tip by Toastmaster Chris Gould, if there's time, so we can extend table topics, or we can have Toastmaster Gould give us the tech tips.
All right, I'll do one more.
Okay.
All right. What movie is underrated or underappreciated? What movie is underrated or underappreciated? Toastmaster Scott May.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Oh, movies that are underrated. There are a few favorites I have. I'm not sure how well they're rated, but they're rated high in our house. One of which is Groundhog Day. Just as the theme is, I have seen that movie probably 20 times, and I'm ready to see it 20 more. Now, as far as overall ratings for movies, it's probably not very high. It's a bit predictable, and some of the acting is a little suspect, but the concept and premise and how it relates to all of our lives, I bet most of us have wished we could wake up and relive a day that maybe we didn't live the way we wish we had. I know that happens to me pretty much, Monday through Sunday. If I had the opportunity for a mulligan, I would take it. It's also that love story where you get an opportunity to find the person of your dreams, and then as well as being the person of your dreams. So for me, I would pick Groundhog Day, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. And Mr. Timer, can you let us know our timing and did everyone qualify?
We had one person that did not qualify, and that was Becky Jo Bean at 52 seconds. Tom Quinn, 1 minute 26. Chris Gould, 1 minute 36. Pam, 1 minute 18. Jim Gould, 1 minute 39. Alita, 1 minute 26. Scott May, 1 minute 18. Mr. Topic Master.
Please be sure to vote. And I return the specter to our Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine. That was wonderful. Very unusual questions for table topics. That was great. We'll take a, 4-minute break, and then we'll reconvene. Mr. Timer, let us know at 4 minutes.
Will do.
Well, if Chris is going to speak, I'll match her up with a project and evaluator.
Okay.
Never speak for free.
Do you have a name for your speech, a title, Chris?
Tech tip. Sharing your YouTube speech.
And how many
Sharing?
minutes?
Sharing.
I'll do 5 to 7.
Thank you.
Piece of information, the Zoom company is doing a whole educational series about how to manage all of these screen things. Check in with them. It's a free Zoom class.
I have a question. I have a question. I'm not clear whether Lois said she was ready to evaluate. Lois, I just want to make sure that you're good to go.
I chatted with her. I think she's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And is
Okay,
anyone?
it's always good to have new people evaluate. I know it's a little scary, but it's exciting. So I'm so pleased.
Yeah.
Looks like she stepped away. So
yeah,
there we go.
So Kip, you're going to evaluate Chris Gould then?
Yeah, I'll figure out what to do with her. I'll say something.
Okay.
Silence is deafening.
Yeah.
Silence can make a minute seem like an hour.
He cleans the house and he brings me coffee.
Wow, is he good?
I need to give him a raise, I think.
Wow.
It could be a prank. I'm not sure what's in that coffee.
Jim Day, before our marriage, won, what was it, the best husband in the world contest somewhere, Jim?
Something like that many, many moons ago.
So Jim Gould will really have to match that, or maybe we should have an official contest.
We should have a contest.
Yes, we should.
Oh, brother.
Sure, no problem.
Only if we don't publish the results.
Very good.
You can have it. I'm fine.
You know, it creates those kinds of contests create levels of expectations that may not be able to be achieved in the future.
Yeah, but you know, Jim, that was the first thing you told me when we went on that date that you had been,
No, it wasn't. You saw the document when we were going through something.
Okay.
And doesn't it depend on the day? Because some days Grant is the world's best husbands, and other days, the rating probably would not be as high. Right now he's on the top of the list. So keep it up, boy.
When as a husband, you take it and run and never bring up the subject. 4 minutes, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. We'll get back into the swing of things. Now we will proceed with our prepared speeches. Mr. Timer, would you tell us the timing requirements for prepared speeches?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today, all 3 speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. You need to have 2 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes with a 30-second deviation both at the beginning and the end of the speech. So from 4 minutes, 30 seconds to 7 minutes, 30 seconds will be qualified. I will turn on the green at 5 minutes, the amber at 6 minutes, the red at 7 minutes. And if I start flashing, someone needs to mute you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Our first speaker today is talking from the pathways of strategic.
So from 4 minutes, 30.
Oh. Okay. Our first speaker today is speaking on pathways strategic relationships, making connections through networking using storytelling, descriptive language, and focusing on the positive. The title of his speech is My New Friends from Missouri and Texas. Please welcome Toastmaster Carmine Tuzo.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My new friends, one is from Missouri and one is from Texas. I don't have very many new male friends, and I've been blessed. Met them through Zoom meetings. My friend from Texas, I have never seen in person. Exchanged emails, telephone calls, great deal of sharing, almost daily. My friend from Missouri is the one I'm going to talk to you about. His name is Matthew. Matthew, I think he's in his mid-50s. He's got 4 grown adult children, been divorced. He has a partner that he lives with. Both his partner and him are multimillionaires. She inherited a whole chain of grocery stores in the Midwest, and his father was an executive for the Budweiser distribution company. And he recalls that in his house, there was always a supply of beer. And at an early age, he was the party boy of the neighborhood. And Matthew is still a kind of a party boy without using any substance. So Matthew is an exuberant, exciting person to be around. He has this 6-room condo over in Delray overlooking the beach. It must be 3,000 square feet. He has another house in Missouri and another house someplace else. He doesn't work anymore. He invited me for lunch. He comes here about 6 weeks a year. And he said, I'll meet you at the Luna Rosa restaurant on A1A. I said, great, great. I pull up to the parking lot and he's there. How you doing? And he jumps on me, hugs me. And he's about 6'1". He's so enthused. He's so glad to see me. We have a 2.5-hour lunch, sharing and laughing and giggling and enjoying the food. I'm 85 years old. I can't take laughing and giggling and joking for 2.5 hours. I get exhausted, plus eating a great meal. Last week, he said, come on up, we'll have lunch again. He said, I know this great place. They make great corned beef sandwiches. I said, okay, Matthew. Wherever we go, he encounters and engages people. And I do the same thing, but at a different way, a different level. So we're standing there waiting for the sandwiches. And there's this older gentleman leaning against the wall. And there's a walker on the side. I said, how you doing today, sir? He said, I'm doing pretty good. I said, you know, how old are you? He said, I'm 95. 95. God bless you. I said, you getting a sandwich for yourself? He said, no, I'm getting a sandwich for my wife. That's a very great thing. My wife is just waiting for me to die so she could get on with her boyfriend. And I didn't know whether he was serious or not, or he just had a sense of humor. And so these kind of encounters with people are really exciting to me. I'll never see this man again. The day is not over. So Matthew says, come on. And he drives around in this little Volkswagen convertible and he loves to play rock and roll music and he's beating on the, it's like, Matthew, take it easy, slow down. So we pull into this one park and he wants to show me the inlet where the water comes in from the ocean. We walk out there and there's a guy fishing. And I'm a person who likes to engage and encounter. How you doing? How's the fishing? Terrible. I've lost 6 lines. How long you been here? Well, I'm on vacation. From where? New Jersey. Are you retired? Yeah. How long you been retired? I've been retired about 10 years. Well, what did you do in New Jersey? I was a school teacher for children with learning disability. He said, I didn't even want to be a school teacher. I graduated college. I didn't know what to do one summer. And I was talking to a guy I met in the barbershop. And he happened to be working for the school superintendent. He said, we have some openings in the school. Why don't you apply? He's been there for 35 years. He said, I love that job. Loved helping kids. This is my adventure with Matthew. Then we go for a walk in another park. I see a couple standing by one of those banyan trees. And he says to them, he said, did you, put your initials on the tree? He said, no, we wouldn't do anything like that. So I'm curious again. So I say, how long you guys been married? We've never been married. We just lived together for 20 years. How old are you? We're in our 70s. She was married twice and I was married once. We don't want to get married. We just do everything together. Well, what have you done? We've traveled all over the world together. Wow. My friend Matthew enabled me to meet all kinds of strange people. We're walking through the park and we see these 6 Negro women coming back from the pier with their fishing poles. Of course, Carmine says, are we going to have fish fry tonight? And one of them very cleverly says, well, unless we have an air fryer, because we only caught air. And I started laughing. My friend Matthew brings me a lot of joy. God bless you all. And remember, the purpose of strategic relationships is to find joy, happiness, giggles, and laughs, because life is supposed to be uplifting. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tuzo. Thank you for a very uplifting speech. Our next speaker today is also speaking from strategic relationships. Who do you think you are? The answer is not always apparent. Sometimes the answer changes as we navigate the passages of life. Some people never figure it out. Toastmaster Rock will present some simple illustrations for you to consider when answering the question, who am I? And the title of her speech is, Who Do You Think You Are? Toastmaster Rock, please welcome her.
Good morning. I'm going to need to screen share.
Okay, go ahead.
I think, therefore I am. French philosopher and mathematician René Descartes made that statement in the 17th century. You can picture him with his long, brown, flowing hair and French profile. I think, ... Therefore, I am. And since the 17th century, we have been caught up in our heads. We've been trapped there. And where has this gotten us? Think about it. Let's think about our society. We are living in an age of consumerism that's just rampant. It just doesn't stop. We have high suicide rates. The suicide rate has risen 255% from the year 2000. Depression is at an all-time high. Something is missing. Something is missing. I would like to say that I am is much more than just thinking. Our thinking represents the boats on the river. Sometimes we have simple thoughts like my nose itches or tomorrow is trash pickup. Other times we have more complex thoughts like I think there's going to be a nuclear war, or what if I lose my job? Our thoughts can get caught up here and we can be stuck and never get beyond our thinking. I propose to you that our thinking is just the surface. It's the boats. Think of yourself as a scuba diver on the bottom of the river. And the river is your spiritual consciousness. That's who you really are. Intuition, where does it come from? Artists and musicians often say, I'm inspired. Or people have an intuition that they need to do something. Where does that come from? That comes from deep within the river. It's not those boats that are just floating by, those thoughts. As we get deeper, we become more connected with our true selves, the people that we are meant to be. Think about the most joyous, interesting people you know. They are connected and they go into the spiritual level. They're inspired. They know their true self, and they feel a connection with other people and other parts of creation. There was a French philosopher, not a French philosopher, a French priest and archaeologist, Pierre de Teilhard de Chardin. Now, Deschardins was not his last name. That was where he was from, in France. And he was a brilliant scientist, but also a Jesuit priest. And the Catholic Church would not allow him to print anything other than his scientific articles. Post-mortem, of course, he is greatly appreciated. He believed that we were all evolving back to our Creator, and that our Creator brings us toward our higher power constantly. So that's the divine presence. Think of it. Have you ever looked at a sunset, a sunrise, stars, and just become viscerally connected? Have you ever looked at a child laughing, or looked at the suffering when people are in a flood or a hurricane, and you connect? That is your divine presence, connecting with them. And how do you do that? With me, I do it through something called centering prayer. You can do it in many ways, but centering prayer is the method I use, where I intentionally sit to be receptive to my higher power, so my higher power can connect with me. So I am not so busy with those thoughts upon the river. And there are many organizations that you can go to find out more about centering prayer. Here are a few resources. One is Contemplative Outreach, and that was started by Thomas Keating, who was a monk who really kicked off the centering prayer movement in this past century. The next is the Center for Contemplation and Action, which is, the backbone is Richard Rohr, who is a prolific author. And the third is Wisdom Waypoints, and also Cynthia Bourgeot, who's an Episcopalian minister and also a brilliant author, is the backbone of the Wisdom Waypoints. So look at these resources. And Pierre de Chardin says, we are not human beings living a spiritual life. We are spiritual beings living a human life. Fellow Toastmasters, go deep. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Rock, for that insightful and very profound speech. Our third speaker, which was not on the program and has generously stepped up to share this with us, is a vivid example of real life mentoring. She's going to give us helpful tech tips. And the name of her speech is Sharing Your YouTube Speech. Please welcome Toastmaster Chris Gould.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, you know that we record all of these meetings, right? I'm wondering how many of you have actually gone back and watched one of your speeches that has been recorded ever since March of 2020. I want to show you how you can do that for any speech that you've given since March of 2020, when we started doing this by Zoom. So I am going to share my screen, and you need to stop your sound, Jim. Okay. And the screen. Okay. We have a blog, and I want to make sure everybody knows about the blog. Are you seeing the blog? Yep. Just making sure. Okay. And on So this is the blog, and it has both the YouTube recording and Anna's wonderful recaps for every meeting that we've given. And at the top, depending on your screen, you can also, you say, well, how do I get here? It's earlybirdtm.blogspot.com. And if you can't remember that, you can go from the main website. This website should look familiar to everybody. And here is the link to the blog. So I can go from the main website to the blog, or from the blog to the main website, whichever one you want to adopt as your main screen is here. Now, how do you find a speech you've given? Well, I remember giving a speech that had something to do with blockchain. Let's see if I can just use this search up here and type blockchain. And there it is. The reason it came up, though, is because Anna had the word blockchain in her description. So the word you're searching for must be in the description. It's not always going to work. And then here is the video of the whole meeting. And you would need to scroll through, scrub through until you find where you start speaking. And so let's say that's where I start speaking right there. If you want to get the link to that exact spot, you right click on the YouTube and copy video URL at current time. If you want to tell somebody, here, watch this speech I gave, you don't want to give them the link to just the whole meeting. You want to give them the link to just that page. And then you can go to an email and paste that link in. So I'm opening up an email and I will tell my friend, watch my speech and you just paste in the link that you just copied from YouTube. Now, what if your speech doesn't come up by searching? I'm going to go back to the home speech here. Notice over here it says monthly archives. If you know that you gave a speech back in December, you can click on December and see all the meetings for the month. I apparently added, there were must have been 5 weeks in December here. And I did an interview, which I'm going to do more. So you can go back to any month and find the speech, find the meeting, then find the speech, and then give the link just to that speech. So I hope everybody realizes that they can watch themselves. I have then created a page on my personal blog. Let me show you this. On my personal blog, I know. You should be seeing it now? Okay. And under our videos, this is our Geeks on Tour blog. And under our videos, just so that I can find these links, my Toastmaster speeches, I have put a link for every time I've given a speech during this year. So I really wanted to remember what I said in this tall tale, my Yeti. I can just click on that link. It takes me straight to the YouTube where I start speaking at this meeting. But I found it by going to the blog. So the time of COVID has forced us all to use technology, this Zoom meeting. I challenge you to embrace it and use it even more. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Chris Gould. That was very informative and very helpful. And thank you personally for making me a blogger. Chauncina Gardner. Okay, Mr. Timer, how did our speakers do?
Madam Toastmaster, everybody qualified. Carmide cut it close, but he qualified 7 minutes, 26 seconds. Marie Rock, 6 minutes, 58 seconds, and Chris Gould, 5 minutes, 42 seconds. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, please vote for best speaker and please write comments to the speakers in the chat. It's very helpful to them. With that, I will introduce our general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster, Mary Helen Day. Please welcome her.
Yes, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, and especially all of our speakers today. You know why? You are going to get evaluated perfectly. First time by a first-time evaluator, I believe Lois Lane, and then next by an evaluator who is much more experienced. But that's what it's all about, because we hear the subtleties of how we present ourselves in our speeches. Now we have help today, and I'm going to call on our timer. I won't forget him this week. It is Toastmaster Day. What's the time for evaluations?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. The timing requirements are 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second deviation, either at the beginning or the end. I will turn on the green at 2 minutes, the amber at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the red at 3 minutes. At just past 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be muted. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. And just as a note to our evaluators, we try to use the Oreo cookie approach here, which is we give them a little love in the beginning, let them know how great they were. Give them a little bit of constructive criticism, not too much. We don't want to scare them away. And then at the end, you send them away with a lot of love. So that's how we do our evaluations at Earlybird Toastmasters. And to start us off this morning, evaluating Toastmaster Carmine Tuzo is Toastmaster Lois Lane.
Madam General Evaluator. This is my first time, and I found my speaker a natural. For an older man, he had good diction. I liked his presentation, and I felt like I was there and enjoying his speech and his outlook of friendship. Learning what a friend can do for us is a great gift, and he certainly had it. His eye contact was excellent, and he felt comfortable to share his speech with all of us. I found the joy of being at the beach and feeling the waves of the day. Sometimes I find him long and hard on himself with his words. Most times, though, his thinking is very present and joyful. I enjoy him very much, and I find his topics are real, very, very stimulating and happy. It's nice to be an evaluator today and to be connected to this group. Madam General Evaluator. You're muted.
You're
Try
still
again.
muted.
Yeah, no. Listen, thank you for your input. It's always difficult to be an evaluator for the first time. We have all done it. So we felt your pain, but now we're going to feel your joy the next time you evaluate. And evaluating our second speaker of the morning, yes, our returning Toastmaster. We can hardly wait to hear what he has to say about Marie Rock and her speech. Toastmaster Scott May.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Toastmaster Marie Rock. Thank you for an enlightening speech called Who Do You Think You Are? This speech is from Pathways, Strategic Relationships, Creating Effective Visual Aids. And it says the purpose of this speech is for the member to practice selecting and using a variety of visual aids during a speech, which I think she accomplished. Oh, so many wonderful things about this speech, but I'm limited in time, so I can only talk about a few. First, you gave us a lot of interesting information. Talked about René Descartes' quote, I think, therefore I am. Of course, he's French, so it's je pense, donc je suis. You showed us visual aids and you referred to them. So you connected the visual aids to your speech, which helped us to more easily paint a picture in our minds of the points you were making. Well done. The boat on the surface, like thoughts, scuba diver below the surface where it's calm, helped me and probably others to get our arms around just what you were saying and to kind of bring it home. And you shared part of yourself. You made it personal. You shared that you find value in centering prayer, that it helps you be receptive to your higher power. This helps us get to know you, helps build connection, and adds to your speech as that we're all in it together. And you gave us some deep things to think about, like we're spiritual beings living a human life. That alone sounds like a whole speech. Maybe it's your next speech. A couple tiny things to think about. At the start, you asked for screen sharing, which caused a delay. That, I think, is what the break is for, to help verify everything's all set between evaluators and speakers and technology. Seems an opportunity to use that time. At one point, you said, I would like to say, and from my perspective, there's no need to say that. You have the floor. You don't need to tell us what you'd like to say. You can just say it. Yes, thank you, Carmen. Another thing you said at one point, a French philosopher, no, a French priest. So you corrected yourself. And as a listener, I don't feel there's a need typically to correct ourselves because we don't typically know the difference. It's a time to just keep going. You didn't apologize, which I'm glad you didn't. So overall, I truly, truly enjoyed your speech. Your presence is so welcoming and unassuming, and you invite us in to listen just from your voice and your presence. You bring us right in. You met the requirements of this speech. You had effective use of visual aids, and you shared personally, which helps build connection and helps us get to know you better. Well done, and thank you. Madam General Evaluator.
You're still muted, Mary Helen.
There we go. And our final impromptu but knowledgeable speaker is being evaluated by Kip Barkley.
And I am honored to do that. Chris School, thank you so much for jumping in, giving us a techie tip, sharing your YouTube speech. This is youthful stuff. I remember years ago trying to send someone an analog thing. It was an hour long and 40 minutes in was something brilliant. No, they didn't have the enthusiasm to go find it. And you showed us something useful, that alone, right there. And along with that, a tour of, hey, the blog is really there. Go look at it. You hate to see yourself speak. It's good for you. Go watch. I hate it. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Extremely useful stuff. let's see, now what can I say? Some things while working on, you were being your own techie, which meant you would get distracted by looking for buttons and setting things up. You didn't have Jim programmed in the corner to be flashing everything for you like you do for your very professional programs there. So yeah, that's a problem, finding things. Even print screen, I go capture pictures off of our meetings, and to find the print screen button without pressing my nose on it is hard. There's a big white arrow next to it just to help out. And then let's see, your eye contact would distract while you're looking for the buttons. And I think there were some notes hidden in there too, but you know this stuff, But you were quite clear in what you presented. Nice focal variety, eye contact. You would remember, and do it. You would do it. And well, gestures, not a whole bunch. You had a lot of other things going on, but you're aware of your audience. You're comfy with us. And we were thrilled with this topic. I was. This is really handy stuff to know because we want to show our one moment of brilliance in our long, long speech. I have a presenter friend, she records and watches everything she does because she says brilliant things that go out of her mouth and out of her mind, and she wants them. So she will watch her stuff to write them down and include them intentionally the next time. Great, useful project. Keep it up. Do some more of these. We need instructional stuff around here. I will send you your eval. Oh yeah. Engaging humor. I figured level 3, you haven't gotten there yet. And it's probably connect with your audience. Yeah, that's what you were doing. So I will make up projects for people who don't have one. And sometimes I get close and sometimes I really miss. But you're a winner this time. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Barkley. And now for the timer, Toastmaster Jim Day. How did our evaluators do?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Everyone qualified. Lois, 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Scott May, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Kip Barkley, 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, here's our poll up on the screen, so please vote for who you felt did the best job of the morning. Of course, we know our evaluators are all great. It's just something we do. We vote. It makes us feel like brownies again or Cub Scouts. So we've got some people reporting in today, and today our counter reporting in is soon to be Distinguished Toastmaster Jim Gould.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. We had some trials and tribulations this morning with our ahs. I heard Toastmaster Randolph only twice. Improvement, Scott May twice, Alita 3 times, Chris I heard 1, Tom Quinn I heard 1, Lois Lane there was 1 that was really tiny. You speak very well. That's nice. Kip, when you use your conference microphone, keep your papers from on top of it. It's shuffling. That's my report this morning, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gould. The counting job is not something we all value, but it's a difficult job because it means we have to pay attention and do things right. And there you go. Here we needed that. Now for our grammarian, what kind of tribulations did you detect today, Toastmaster Richmond?
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, I am always thrilled on Thursday mornings to come here and listen to these talking heads telling you. Table Topics was full of fun things, but I particularly liked Tom Quinn. He would die of hysterical laughter if he came out in his little Speedo wrestling outfit. But for Table Topics, Chris Gould takes the cake on that. She talked about this scuba diving. It's a silent world, but you have to look for the telltale bubbles to find fish parts. So, our speakers today, I'm not going real, but Carmine, how do you find a 6'1", 50-something multi-millionaire who is exuberant and exciting and keeps you laughing and giggling for 2.5 hours? I want to meet that guy. Marie Rock, great stuff. You talked about Pierre Desjardins. We always called him Teilhard Desjardins, and I'm familiar with that guy when I was doing philosophical studies long ago. Who else? Chris, amazing tech tip. You gave us such good information here, the copy and the URL to just pull your own speech out and save it. And your comment, Zoom, it's here, embrace it and use it. That was great. The evaluators, first of all, I commend Lois Lane for pointing out that Carmine, as an older man, has good diction. And then thank you, Scott May, for pointing out that you don't need to say, I would like to say, just say it. And I like the way that you described Marie's presence as welcoming and unassuming. Kip, handy stuff to know so that we can recall our moment of brilliance. I have to give the Grammarian Award this morning to Chris Gould. She was just on top of it all. Madam General Evaluator.
Great job. I remember years ago when I first started coming to Earlybird Toastmasters, it was many eons ago, way back. We'll do a little Star Wars thing here because it was that long ago. And I remember once I felt comfortable with the group, and that's really important, once you feel comfortable with the group, that every time I left, I felt invigorated, I felt happy, I felt joyful, I felt like I was ready to meet my day because I had a good time. And that's what I felt today with this meeting. Regardless of our word of the day, this meeting was no tribulation for me because I had fun listening to all of you and enjoying all your witticisms and your company here this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. Our Toastmaster, great. She always is professional, keeps the meeting flowing. We have our topics, which I just so enjoyed. They were so unusual and people were engaged by them and they came up with some wonderful, wonderful answers. Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine. Our speeches, well, our speakers, they shared something that were personal to them. You know, Toastmaster Carmine Tuzo was telling us about he gets to meet people and when he has that opportunity, he takes advantage of that opportunity. Well done, Toastmaster Tuzo. And Toastmaster Rock, you shared a little more personal side of yourself, that spiritual side that we all know is there, but you actually were vulnerable in sharing that with us today and gave us a good road to follow if we have that desire as well. Toastmaster Gould, wow, again, like I said, every time Chris Gould does one of these speeches, she keeps it so simple that even we can understand it, or I can understand. I'm not speaking for all of you, obviously, but yeah. And she keeps it simple so we don't have to think about all the things we have to learn. So she gives us a good way to learn them. So terrific. Though Toastmaster Gould, you may want to teach Toastmaster Rock how she doesn't have to show the other slides on the side of her screen when she's doing a presentation on whatever that app is. We know what it is, don't we? I can't remember at this moment though. So our evaluators, Toastmaster Lane, you did a phenomenal job. You threw yourself into that evaluation. You did exactly what I suggested. You listened to that speech and you were giving him a lot of good feedback this time. So great first time. Now from now on, you're going to be paying attention so hyper alertly to what all the other evaluators do that next time I know it's going to even be better. And Toastmaster May, so wonderful to hear your eloquent language and doing your evaluations. I can hardly wait to hear you evaluate everyone else. And our last evaluator, Toastmaster Barkley, well, what can we say? In all of that, there is so much that he has to say. And sometimes we don't listen as carefully, but we should, because he says everything exactly the way it is. So wonderful in your evaluation, Toastmaster Barkley. Great meeting today. I enjoyed being here with each and every one of you. And I look forward to our next meeting. And with that, it's going right back to our Toastmaster of the Day, Anna Ilsen.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And now the moment of truth, the awards. Toastmaster Gould, are we going to have the effects?
Oh yeah.
The sound effects?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Best table topics of the day. Toastmaster Chris Gould. Best evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Scott May. And best speaker of the day, Toastmaster Chris Gould. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Presiding officer, that's me. Great meeting. No guests here to go welcome and things. Announcements for the good of the club. We have a Division B contest coming up. Oh, when is that? March 26th. That's a ways down. And we also have our social coming up. Mary Helen has that planned. Tell us about that.
Thank you for giving me advance notice on my planning of this meeting. However, yes, we need to have some RSVPs. Some of them have already come in, but I'll tell you, the ones that show up, we are going to have a ball because we're going to be back together one more time. And where are we going to be now? What's the name of this place? You know it.
The Deep Restaurant and Bar. It's at Lauderdale Resort or something it's called. I sent it out and promptly forgot it. I'll send it out again with picture.
And should we meet around 8 o'clock in the morning? Does that seem correct for those of you who are going to show up?
That sounds doable. Painful, but doable. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning before the traffic starts to prevent us from getting where we need to go. And we have enough time to enjoy. And for you, Toastmaster Barkley, to get to your meeting later on in the day.
Yeah.
And what was the date again?
This is going to be on what? The 16th of March. So it's not next week. Or is it? Or?
No, I think, wait a minute. I don't
The
have my
23rd.
calendar. The 23rd, yes. It's the 23rd of March. 23rd of March.
March.
Mhm.
So
At
we'll
the
send out.
Beachcomber Resort and Club.
Is
Yes.
there parking there?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
across the street.
Okay.
So when
Now
you
there-
find yourself valeted out, go across the street.
Yeah. And listen, for those of you who are coming, I said it'll be 2 days after my carpal tunnel operation, and I'll be able to regale you with stories.
Oh,
I
good.
know you can hardly wait.
We want PowerPoint of the slides, so we'll bring a projector and everything.
Okay. Next, I want to be the topic master next time. Okay.
All right. Speaking of that, let's sign up and let's write down Mary Helen and not topic master in the topic master block, like I did last time. Okay, we have Pamela signed up. Is she doing a short speech or a long speech? Do you need 1 or 2 slots, my dear?
Short, 5-7.
Very good. And Chris Gould following week, I don't know if that's short or long, but you don't have to decide today, but you signed up for the 24th.
Okay, thanks for reminding me. Yes.
Okay. Now next Thursday is St. Patrick's Day, so we can regale ourselves with our bad Celtic accents and all of that. Who else wants to do what?
Randolph wants to
believe
be
that
general evaluator.
Okay, Randolph. Got it.
I'll do the invocation and pledge.
Okay, gonna give us a little Irish blessing?
Yes, yes.
Anna will